Hi everybody, this is Professor Tedone, and we're going to go through who cares about epidemiology. This is a pretty quick course, and it just gives you some of the very bare basics. First of all, epidemiology is described as the study of factors affecting the health and illness of populations, the study of how often disease occur in different groups of people and why they occur, and determines the disease distributions, morbidity, mortality, injuries, and disabilities of a specific population, and serves as the base for community health programs. Some different epidemiologic fields of study include infectious disease, molecular genetic epidemiology, cancer epidemiology, environmental, psychological behavioral social epidemiology, zoonotic or public epidemiology, and public health preparedness epidemiology. Descriptive epidemiology describes the who, when, and where. It's a study of the amount and distribution of a disease within a population. Analytical epidemiology is the how and the why. It uses the research process to examine reasons for high to low disease frequency in a specific population. And what do epidemiologists do? Epidemiologists study the disease outbreaks, evaluate risk factors for diseases, and conduct long-term population studies to understand what causes diseases and accidents. One epidemiologic example is if a person starts smoking as a teenager, what would the risk of that person be for developing lung cancer by the time they are 50? The epidemiologist would design and conduct experiments to evaluate control and prevention measures, and can stop smoking education campaigns help prevent teen smoking. Epidemiologists gather information and confirm existence of an outbreak or a disease. They confirm diagnoses of a specific disease and establish a case definition of the disease. A standard set of criterion would be developed for identifying who has the disease. They would perform descriptive studies to explain the disease, develop a test hypothesis to control the disease, and implement control and prevention programs. And then they would report all these findings to the public. Some different epidemiological data sources include the U.S. Census, vital statistics, morbidity data, air quality, suicide rates, homicide rates, infection rates. Disease frequency is defined as endemic, epidemic, or pandemic. An endemic is low to moderate level of disease in a given area. An example of this would be an outbreak of strep at your child's school. An epidemic would be a level greater than what is expected in a given area. An example of this would be our recent measles outbreak, and that would be due to immunizations not being given at the level of expectancy. And the pandemic, a level greater than what is expected in several countries and regions worldwide. And of course, we know one pandemic of recent time would be our COVID-19. An epidemiological triad would focus on the relationship between the agent, the host, and the environment. Agent factors would include physical, which include trauma, burns, cold, heat, and radiation, chemical, meds, plants, and acids, nutritive, which include vitamins, minerals, and nutrition levels, infectious, which would be virus, bacteria, protozoa, and parasites, and psychological, which includes stress, depression, and guilt, and envy. Environmental factors would include biological, which would be plants and insects, physical, home, air, water, and pollution, and social, family values, and religion. Host factors would be intrinsic factors for age, race would be physical factors, gender would be psychological factors, and genetic factors would be immunity factors. And here's an example of tuberculosis with an epidemiological triangle. We have your host, which might be a person with poor nutrition, concurrent diseases, or a low immunity status, who lives in a crowded, poorly ventilated, badly sanitized environment, and they're exposed to the TB organism. These might be the perfect storm for the causation of TB. And speaking of causation, we can go right now to the web of causation. The web of causation describes the interconnectedness of the many factors that lead to the disease, and it works well with complex diseases. And let's look at this specific web of causation. Let's look at the disease. Let's look at COVID as one of the diseases for the web of causation to see who's at greatest risk for it. If we have a person who is not a smoker, has high physical activity, has a very low CRP level, normal blood pressure, has a low BMI, is female, low lipid levels, is not genetically susceptible to diseases, low stress level, and is not on any medication, this person would be probably in your lower risk category for that disease. And as you can see with this diagram, you can see perfectly well what the reservoir, mode of transmission, and susceptible host would be. Thank you so much for spending time with me in epidemiology, and I hope you all have a very blessed day. Bye-bye now.